Hi everyone and welcome to Kaylie.s Fitness. This is my first vlog, the first of many. So the vlogs are all going to be about my weight loss and my fitness journey. A lot of the times you come across individuals where you see their before and after pictures, and then they go through and tell you what the process was like. So I'm going to be different. I'm going to take you on the journey with me. I'm going to show you the struggles, the good times, and just the pure reality of losing weight. So a bit about me. When I was younger, I was always a pretty big kid, not massively overweight, but always like the bigger girl out of everyone. To be honest, it never bothered me. I was never bothered about my weight. I was never a sheep or a follower of anybody. I always knew my own mind, and and I'd always had friends, and I think that's why people like me, because I knew my own mind. I am who I am. Yeah, so I was never bothered about my weight at a younger age, even through secondary school. At university, I was still one of the big girls, so never really bothered me then. Got into my football. Also got into boxing. That's probably when I become more conscious about my weight, was with boxing, because obviously in boxing you have the different weight categories. Sorry for that, croaky voice. Yeah, so in boxing you have the different weight categories. So I was then more conscious about my weight, because my weight at the time would have put me in like middleweight or heavyweight, and I was a bit like, oh, okay, got me thinking a bit then. But I was training like 5 times a week, wasn't really focused on my diet or anything, and without realising, and to be honest, I wasn't, although I knew about the weight categories, I wasn't conscious about my weight whatsoever. Like I didn't know what weight category I was going to be fighting in or anything. I kind of, did a good solid year of training pretty much like a pro, like 5 times a week. I was working, going to university, training, coming home, and I was shattered. I'd just be asleep on a sofa. So when it came to my first fight, I actually weighed in at 62 kilos, which was a really good weight, and I probably felt at my prime at that time. But then, like later on, probably a year or so later, met my other half. We got together. I moved away from where I originally was from. We settled down. I had my little boy. When I was pregnant, I just stopped everything. I stopped training. Wasn't conscious of what I was eating. I think I stopped training and exercising more because no one had ever told me it's still okay to exercise and train. I just put a halt to everything because I thought, being pregnant, I need to protect that baby inside me. The impact of training and exercising, the baby's going to be feeling that. Surely that can't be good for a developing child inside you. So yeah, I did stop all forms of exercise. So I literally went from being 62 kilos at my prime to 90 kilograms towards the end of my pregnancy. That is just a ridiculous amount of weight. That's 30 odd kilos that I put on, and I can't even comprehend that weight. That is that is just ridiculous, the amount of weight I put on. So I had my little boy. Then I did become really conscious of my weight. At that point, it was probably a year after having him. I then went back training, went back to boxing. Obviously, having a child, I couldn't train the number of days that I was training, so I was probably only training like 2 or 3 evenings a week. But yeah, so I went boxing, started back training. So I was more conscious of my weight then. Like I was conscious that I was massively overweight. I was unable to train the way I was training before. and that was a big shock, to be honest. So yeah, I was just naturally training. I knew I wanted to get back in the ring. I knew I wanted to fight again. So I just did all the training I could, watch what I was eating, and gradually my weight completely dropped down. I say that, and that was probably without even trying. That was just doing my general boxing training. So I got back down to 66 kilos actually, which was really good. But I was still a lot of pressure on myself to get my weight down from 66 kilos. I was never able to. I just got stuck at 66 kilos. But in the boxing world, you know, I put so much pressure on myself, because I know boxing at 66 kilos, you know, I'm only little, I'm only 5'2", but boxing at 66 kilos, you know, I was boxing girls that were 5'9" plus, you know, so it wasn't good for me. So as much as I knew like my weight loss was really, really good and I was really happy with it, in the boxing sense of things, you know, it wasn't good enough. So yeah, that put, like, I don't think people realise mentally how much you know, boxing does have an impact on you, you know, because as well as I'd done going from 90 kilos down to 66 kilos, you know, it still wasn't good enough. So I ended up having some hip issues, you know, had quite a lot of pain in my hips, got that seen, so I needed surgery on that. So I stopped my boxing to have my surgery. I was out for a good year. Within that time, I wasn't exercising, I stopped my training. So then again, the weight slowly crept back up again, to the point I am at the weight I am now. Like, in between that time, I did have the surgery. So I'd gone from 66 kilos to about 80 kilo for my first lot of surgery. It was probably about 6 or 7 months out of training. That's all it was. Then I went back boxing, and I think that was the most poignant moment, going back, you know, for the third time, like the first time after I'd had my surgery, but for the third time in my life. And I just remember warming up around the gym, doing exercises, you know, you have the big mirrors up on the walls, you know, so more so you can see your technique and your form on how you're training, so you can improve that. But obviously for someone like me, those big mirrors up on the wall, I'm running around, you know, in the gym warming up, looking at myself and being absolutely disgusted, you know. It really, really made me self-conscious of myself. You know, I still had hip issues, that I needed to go back into surgery for that, but I stopped boxing. And the reason I stopped boxing, I actually find this really emotional to talk about. So yeah, the reason I stopped my boxing was not because of my hip, it was because how I felt. Mentally it really affected me, the way I looked. Yeah, I was disgusted with the way I looked and how I felt. Like, how could I ever, you know, get all that weight back down again to 66 kilos? It just mentally could not do it. Couldn't do it mentally. So I gave up boxing, and I haven't been back boxing since. But since then, as I say, I did have a second hip surgery, stopped the exercise still. So my weight when I started this journey, well, I'm starting it now, is 86.1 kilos. So I've pretty much, you know, put all my weight back on and gone back up there to when I was pregnant. And the reason that also I've done this journey is because the second time I went in for my hip surgery, so I went for my hip surgery in September. I weighed 83 kilos, so that was fine. Then I needed to go back in for a smaller procedure back then in February, so it's only a couple of months down the line. So that was this February, and And I remember sitting in there having my assessment and the nurse calling me in, and she's saying, oh, we have to do these checkups. Obviously, because of the situation the world is in, you know, like with COVID and things, they're being really strict on who they can give surgery and procedures to. So she's going through the health questionnaire, all the checklist, and from September to February my weight has gone up even more. So actually when she weighed me, bear in mind I did have my clothes on, I was 87.5 kilos. You know, that's 4.5 kilos from September to February. That's just ridiculous. And I remember her looking at the weight and going, oh, you're over the threshold that they would do surgery. Only just, because they would do surgery at 85 kilos. But being 87.5, you know, that's making me like morbidly obese, you know. So she had to go and ask her charge nurse. She's like, I'm really sorry, I just need to go and just check that it's okay to have your surgery because you are overweight and you are over the threshold that we can, you know, that we can do our procedures. Being 85 kilos, I'm still classed as obese, but that little bit further, you know, I was classed as morbidly obese. And that's when it really hit me, because I've never had any issue with my weight as such, and never had anyone in a health professional just turn around and say, I just need to check that we can actually go ahead with the surgery because of your weight, you are at risk. So yeah, that was a big shock, definitely. So after I've had that, I am where I am now. And it made me realise, you know, I really do need to sort myself out. So I'm not boxing anymore. You know, I would like to do a little bit of boxing training, but I don't think I'd ever step back into the ring. You know, I haven't got my boxing to push me and get that weight loss down and to motivate me. So now it's all about me. It's all about the changes that I need to make, about my lifestyle and what I can do to fit in around my life to make this a steady thing. You know, I'm doing this for me now, not for the boxing. I'm doing it for me. So yeah, so I'm gonna take you guys on my journey through the good times, the bad, and just the pure reality of losing weight. I'm not going to go on to any diet because I don't believe in diets, I really don't. So this is all about my lifestyle change, okay? This is a permanent change that I want to make. I don't want to have to go through this journey again of putting the weight on and bringing it back down, you know, going back up there, being depressed, and then, you know, and trying to lose it again. I've just got to make the subtle lifestyle changes to be able to continue this on. And with everyone behind me and doing these vlogs, I am motivated. I'm motivated now more than ever. So if you like what you hear, then follow me on my fitness and my weight loss journey. I'll be trying to post on a weekly basis just to keep you updated, doing weekly weigh-ins on a Monday. So yeah, we'll keep it real. Help me, help you, and follow me and come on this journey with you. Keep it real, people. Peace.